First, I'm a little relieved that at the beginning when Father was praying for the people of the parish, that he didn't say that we're praying for those who are sick of the parish. Little joke. Anyway. Several years ago, I had knee replacement surgery done down in New York City. And you can see I'm hobbling around now from kicking the can down the road on the other one. After the surgery, and the surgery did go well, I was put in a recovery area where there were many other people who just had surgery, and they were separated by these little screens. And I was really uncomfortable. And maybe because I was just recovering from the anesthetic, I don't know. But I was just sweaty and clammy and irritated. I was just not feeling good at all. And this one woman, I think she was a nurse assistant, came over to me with a cart. And on the cart she had a bowl of warm water and a face cloth and a towel and some talcum powder. And she wiped my face and my head and my neck and dried them off and then put some talcum powder where it was irritated. And I felt so much better. Really did. Now, I don't know what kind of a day this woman was having, but she did this wonderful kindness to me. She didn't have to do it, but she did it out of the goodness of her heart. I thought about that when I'm reading today's gospel, and Jesus just hears that his cousin was brutally executed. Now, the Gospels don't talk about how many times they met each other and got together for holidays or anything like that. We only know that Jesus saw John at the Jordan, the beginning of his ministry. And John the Baptist was in jail, put in jail by Herod. But Herod really liked to talk to John. John had so many good things to say. He was impressed. One of the things he said was that it was wrong for Herod to be married to the woman he was married to because she was already married. Now, that may have been a custom among some of the pagans at the time, but certainly among the Hebrews, it was not permitted. And John spoke out about that. Well, Herod's wife did not like that and plotted to have him killed. And eventually she got her way, and John was beheaded. So now Jesus hears this, and he's in mourning. He feels terrible about this. And not only that, the political climate has now turned for the worst against him. So he wants to retreat to a private place and think about these things, mourn John, and plan his next moves in his ministry. The crowd is relentless, and they follow him. And no matter how he feels, Jesus looks at the crowd, and he has pity on them. And it says, very simple line, he cures their sick. That is very infrequently do we hear Jesus just says, okay, the person's cured and goes on his way. We heard that about the Roman centurion slave who was cured that way. Most of the time, Jesus touches the people. And I believe, I can imagine in this case, he went up to the people, touched them, and cured them. Just like that woman who took care of me, no matter how she was feeling that day. And no matter how Jesus was feeling that day, he cured these people. The story goes on to tell us that now they're hungry. And the disciples say, let's send them away. We have no food. And Jesus says, we'll feed them ourselves. How? Jesus, and another throwaway line, tells them to sit on the grass. Now I'm going to let you, this is my imagination. It's not in the gospel, my imagination. I can imagine that Jesus has them sitting in groups. Now, of course, when we see on black and white televisions, the people of Palestine at the time, we just see shades of gray. People wore shades of reds and greens and yellows. Purple, not so much. That was very expensive. But I can imagine him putting these people in groups of colors and looking out and seeing this beautiful garden. God looks at us as these beautiful creatures. He loves us. He can't help looking at us. We're so beautiful. And Jesus arranges this beautiful garden of people. And then he has the multiplication of the loaves and fish. We hear this story 6 times in the Gospels. This is an important story. By the way, you want to check it, go to your Bibles at home. Twice in Matthew, twice in Mark, once in Luke, once in John. And many gospel experts say, well, you know, this is a foreshadowing of the Eucharist. Okay, I agree with that. On this day, though, this was real food for hungry people. And no matter how Jesus felt, he fed these people. Okay, let's bring it to today. What does that mean for us? By example, Jesus is telling us, I know you have problems. I know you are feeling bad. I know you are struggling. There are other people out there with needs. There are people who are sick, people who are hungry, people who need your attention. They could be right next to you. They could be right next door. They need your attention. They need you to feed them, to cure them, to take care of them. I know you are struggling. I know your problems are many. They have needs. And you, by your baptism, are called to care for these people. These people I may never meet. These people Father may never meet. The Cardinal may never meet. The Pope may never meet. But you know them. And you are the eyes and ears and hands of Jesus to touch these people, to follow in the example of Jesus, in spite of your struggles, and we're not denying it, in spite of your hardships, and we know we all have them. We need to care for those around us. That's our calling. That's what Jesus shows us to do today.